Hey everyone, I'm Brenda Harvey, author of the Conspiracy series. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here. I am a sophomore in high school, which means I have to write a lot of essays. And I know that essays are one of the worst things you ever have to write, so I am here to help you make them more interesting for you to write and to make them more interesting for your teacher to read, which is going to boost your grade. But before we get into the video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure to buy my 3 books, The Conspiracy, The Lead, and The Killers. Make sure to check out my website, which is where I will be updating you on all the information I have, and leave a comment for me if you feel like it, and let's get into the video. Let's be honest, writing essays sucks. It's one of the worst things you have to do in school. And the reason this is just how essays are taught. A lot of the times when we are in school, we learn things that could be really interesting, like history, but teachers always make it seem really boring for some reason. It's like a thing. It's just always super boring whenever you're in school. And this is what happened to essays as well. You can write a really interesting essay, but school, I don't know what it is, but likes to suffocate your creativity and like make you blend in and conform, and like the lines and color in the lines, and it's like, oh no, I don't like it. I don't like it. But if you can break out of that suffocation and those lines, you're going to impress your teachers, which is what I'm going to teach you to do. So my first tip: think of your essay as a story. Now, I know most of your essays that you're going to be writing are going to be nonfiction, but your life is a story. So write it down and make it seem like a story, not something that's like completely boring. Or if you're writing about like cheetahs, then write a story about those cheetahs. Don't make it that traditional block format that you're always taught, because that is boring for you to write. It is boring for your teacher to read, and no one wants that. So always think of essays like you are writing down a story that you're making up, even though it's true. Like, I'm sure you have written stories where it's like, it's not true, but there is fact in it. For example, The Conspiracy, the entire series that is very grounded in science and anatomy and things like that. All of the things that I taught you in the book are true. But the story is not real, obviously. So try to think of essays as stories, not just random stuff that you will never need to know ever again. Next, experiment with your style. I recently, like 2 months ago, wrote an essay, and it was a really different style. And I will post that on my website so you can check it out. But it wasn't even in like paragraphs. It was like a jumble of diary entries, text messages, emails, just all in one essay. And I got great feedback on it. My teacher really liked it. My class really liked it. It was just so different that it was so much more interesting. And this is going to make your essay more interesting for you to write, because now you're just taking something that's boring, make it into a completely different style. That's what you need to do. That's more interesting for you to write. It's more interesting for your teacher to read, and it's going to make you stand out from your classmates, because most of your classmates are just going to do that traditional block format with your paragraphs. Don't do that. If you can, break away from that, or even you can stay in that like block format, but change the way that you use it. Like, so you can still you don't need to completely destroy the paragraph. Like, you can keep paragraphs, that's totally okay, that's kind of like standard. But you don't have to make it that traditional introduction, information, conclusion. You don't have to do that. Don't do that if you can. Obviously, there are going to be times where that is required, but if it's just an English essay, like, if you're not sure, just talk to your teacher, like, hey, does it have to be this like traditional format? Can I switch it up a little bit if you're not sure? And a lot of the time they're going to say yes, and it's going to be more interesting for them to read, because teachers don't like to be bored either. And my last tip is to make it a competition with yourself. Try to make the best essay you can. So, yes, we're going there. I wrote an essay about a triangle. His name was Try, who believed deeply with all his soul that he was not a triangle. I can also post that on my website if you guys would like. Just let me know in the comments if you want to read that. That was interesting, to say the least. So I thought it was so much better than writing just like the tradition. Now the assignment was use a sentence type and use like X amount of sentences with that type. So me, being me, decided to write about the triangle. I believed deeply with all his soul that he was not a triangle. So don't be boring. If you think the assignment is boring to write, then it is boring to read, so make it not boring. And make it a competition with yourself. Say, I'm going to make this the best essay I have ever written. Because, let's be honest, geometry is kind of boring. Yeah. But, if you're writing about a triangle who believes deeply with all his soul that he is not a triangle, and then you have little Jimmy who comes around and he's like, yo, you're a triangle. And then he proves it. Geometry. This is how all classes should be taught. You should just like learn math based on circles. I believe deeply with all their soul that they do not have an area and it's impossible to find. And you have to find their area. That would be so cool. If any of you guys want to write that, like write it and then like email it to me. Like let me know. That would be so cool. Anyway, getting off topic. So force yourself to make this something that is so cool and so interesting that you would want to read it. Not just never turn in writing just because it's an assignment. Make it fun, make it energetic. No, and that's always going to make your writing even better. And so that's all I have for you. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Leave any comments and questions you have for me. Make sure to buy my 3 books, Conspiracy, The Lead, and The Killers, which came out like a month ago, roughly. 2 months ago, roughly. In that area. Make sure to be watching my website, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye. Anyway. Next, experiment with your title. What did I just say? Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm not centered in this frame. And oh my gosh. What am I saying?